The Steelphase SP01. It's a great bit of kit. I've used it on all of my detectors so far to really lift the quality of the audio that comes out of the machine. I wonder how it's going to work on the new GPX6000. There's only one way to find out. We'll take it out and we'll have a bit of a play and see how it works. Well, here it is, the 6000 in all its glory, ready to be used out in the bush. I've decided to do a little bit of testing this morning, something a little bit different. Rather than just looking for gold, I want to test out the audio on this machine and see if I can make some subtle improvements to it. Now, if we have a look down here, nice and close, you can see the rear speaker. Now, it's actually quite good. It gives very, very good sound, a little bit tinny, but in general, it's a huge improvement over the SDC 2300. My biggest issue with it is that it's still a long way from your ears, so on a windy day like today, there is the potential for a few problems. And then if I scroll over here and have a look, the wireless Bluetooth headphones, again, very, very good. They're very comfortable, they give a good sound, but I still have a few concerns about those. I think we can make a few improvements on what we have here. And my idea of improving that is to incorporate the SP01 from Steelphase into this unit to see if we can improve the quality and the, I suppose, control that we have over the sound that comes out of the detector. And what I'll do in a minute is I'll show you how I've got this set up on my harness. Well, here's the harness I propose to use to hold all of my kit. As you can see, down low on the left hand side of the harness near the main buckle, I'm going to hold my Steelphase enhancer, the SP01, and then what I'm going to do is run a lead up to a little envelope that's going to be held up on the chest strap. Now I'm going to put a Bluetooth receiver in there and hopefully I can connect that to the 6000, and then I should be able to have a number of options when it comes to using the Steelphase enhancer. I can either run a good set of headphones, or I could possibly also run the dual speakers depending on my situation. Now if I scroll over here, I'll show you what I've got. I've got the enhancer, I've got an audio plug coming out. It's an adapter plug that allows me to plug in a 3.5mm lead that's about 1/2 meter long, and then up on top there is a little Bluetooth receiver that I purchased online. Now that's a low latency receiver, so hopefully it's going to do a good job for me. Now all up, the receiver and the leads and the connector cost me around about $50. All of the other kit I had anyway, so I'm not out of pocket all that much. Now what I'll do is connect everything up, and it'll be time to get out of the backyard, get out into the bush and see what sort of sound we can get out of it. Okay, I'm now out in the bush and it's about time to test this little unit out. I've had the detector sitting here warming up for a few minutes. This 6000 seems to need a little bit of choke to get it started, but anyway, once it's up and going, it's okay. As you can see, on the left hand side there, I've got the Bluetooth connected. It was a simple task to pair that in, the receiver I'm talking about, to pair the receiver in with the detector, following a similar sort of procedure to what you would when pairing in the headphones. Now at the moment, I have the volume turned right down on the detector, as you can see there on the top right hand corner, and all I need to do now is just plug in my speakers. Now on the SP01 I'm running in mode 2 and filter 1, and it seems to work quite well, so just have a listen to this. And I'll just move my phone up a little bit just so that it's a little bit closer to those speakers, and that gives you an indication of what I'm hearing. Okay, last little test. I'm just going to pop this on the ground and let's see how far I could walk back and still maintain contact with the detector. So The Bluetooth is still working well. There's no breakup of signal. You should be able to see my car there in the background. Okay, at the moment I'm 10 or 12 meters back. Just showing a few little signs now of the signal just starting to break up slightly. It's not too bad though. Okay, so I could safely say 15 meters and I'm still maintaining contact with the machine, so that's very, very good. Okay, it's time to get out and see if I can find a target, just to see what that sounds like. I don't care if it's rubbish or gold. I just want to see what the sort of signal is going to come through like when I find something. So I'll be back again shortly. Well, it looks like I've got a little bit of a signal here. Have a listen. I think I'll have a bit of a scratch at that. Hopefully it's not a hot rock, but if it's a reasonable sort of target, I'll go and dig it out. Okay, that's what it is. Oh, sorry about being so awkward, but that's a nice little piece. Oh, look, it'd be 0.1 at best from reasonable depth. Okay, I'll keep going. Well, I've been detecting for about half an hour. Nothing really much happening. I pulled one little nail. It was in scrub that was just too dense to film. And as you can see over there, there's a bit of a boot scrape. I wasn't sure whether it was a bit of charcoal going off, but there may be something there. I'm hoping it's not ground noise. And what I'll try and do is I'll put this detector down and I'll plug in the sound and let you guys have a listen. Right, there we go. Let's see what happens. Definite sound there, hey? And it sounds pretty good. I was actually detecting with the headphones on, and the sound was very, very strong, but those speakers, they produced a very, very good signal. Anyway, I'm happy with the sound, very little distortion, very little background hum, and I don't think I'll film it. I'll just rip this one out of the ground and see what it is, and I'll show you the result. Well, you can see I've had a little bit of a scratch here. It wasn't overly deep. You can see I was probably about an inch below the surface. I wasn't actually expecting anything because this area has been hammered just time after time with all sorts of machines, but it did end up being a tiny little bit of gold, and I mean tiny. Have a look at this. If I zoom in there, right on the red Minelab symbol there, tiny little flat piece. There's nothing much to it, but you guys all heard the signal. It was pretty impressive, and the speakers seem to do their job. There's quite a lot of wind blowing at the moment, so even with that breeze blowing, the speakers work quite well. I think I'll call it quits there for today. It looks as though this system is going to work quite well for me. So I hope it gives you guys a little bit of inspiration or a few ideas on improving on this particular setup. So until next time, guys, cheers.